All right, let's get right into it and break down the absolutely wild story of a weapon gone rogue from the Poppy Playtime animation, The Prototype Reborn.
So it all kicks off with these super chilling words from the creator. You can tell right away this wasn't about making a better toy. Nope, this was all about building the ultimate weapon for some kind of revenge. And that one goal, well, it sets the stage for everything to spiral completely out of control.
The story starts with the birth of the mega prototype, and the goal was simple: create something unstoppable. Well, you know that old saying, be careful what you wish for? The creator got exactly that, a weapon so unstoppable it didn't answer to anyone, not even him.
And you know it's just wild? How fast it all goes south. There's this super clear warning, right? The aggression capacitor is not stable, but the creator's ego just takes over, he ignores the scientist, and literally seconds later, his ultimate weapon turns on him. It's that classic story of the creation turning on its creator, happening in real time.
So, the prototype is loose, and what follows is this absolutely desperate chase through the city. Right from the get-go, it is painfully obvious that our heroes are completely and utterly outmatched.
You gotta see their first few attempts to get away. They're kind of hilarious in a terrifying way. They try hiding, they try to drive a car but can't even reach the pedals, and they wind up in a super slow-motion chase in an ice cream truck. It just perfectly shows you how powerful this prototype really is.
And this piece of advice just frames the whole problem perfectly. They can't fight it head-on, they can't trick it. The only thing they can possibly do is run. But seriously? How are you supposed to outrun something that was built to be unstoppable? You know, when you have a threat this huge, it forces people to do crazy things. Like, say, team up with your worst enemies just to survive the day.
And just listen to this line. It tells you everything you need to know about how much these groups can't stand each other. There is zero trust here, just pure, raw desperation. It really shows you how high the stakes have to be to even get these guys in the same room, let alone to get them working together.
And here's the kicker, right? Neither team has the whole solution. Player and Lily, they need to boot up this emergency system, but they have no idea where the lab is. Meanwhile, Gibble and his crew know they need to stabilize the prototype's core, but they can't figure out how to get inside its chest. They literally have opposite halves of the same puzzle, which means working together is their only option.
Okay, so they finally put their heads together and they actually managed to come up with a real strategy. I mean, it's a total long shot, but hey, it's the only one they've got. But this is the real million-dollar question, isn't it? It's one thing to have a plan, but how in the world are you supposed to pull off a complicated two-part attack on a target that you can't even keep up with?
So they split the work, which is actually pretty smart. One team is going to focus on getting inside the prototype's chest to get to its core, while the other team has to find that secret lab and hit the emergency failsafe. It's risky, for sure, but it plays to each team's strengths.
So what about that speed problem? How do they solve it? Well, it comes down to a classic, gutsy move. One team has to be the bait. They have to make themselves a giant, flashing target to draw all the attention, just to give the other team a tiny window of opportunity. And I love this moment because it just perfectly shows that they still don't really want to work together. Even in the middle of this insane battle, with everything on the line, you get this reluctant, hey, wait, why me? It's a great little bit of character that adds some humor to a really intense situation. All right, this is it, the climax. This is where everything, both parts of the plan, the distraction and the attack, has to come together perfectly. No room for error.
And watch how this unfolds. It's like clockwork. First, the distraction team gets its attention. That creates just enough of an opening for the other team to shoot and breach the chest plate. Then, while that's happening, the emergency system gets booted up, which leads to the final action, flipping the lever. The timing had to be absolutely perfect.
And it actually works. I mean, look at this. The aggression capacitor's energy levels, which were completely maxed out, get pulled all the way back down to a stable, manageable level. It's a massive win. So, for now at least, the threat is over. The monster is down. I mean, against all odds, these guys who couldn't even stand to be in the same room together actually pulled it off.
They won the battle, no doubt, but the story leaves you with this lingering thought. The word is stabilized, right? Not destroyed. The ultimate weapon is still out there. And it just makes you wonder, what happens the next time that aggression capacitor starts to overload?